welcome to Bishop's first episode of Desert Island Discs in our lockdown era. We have Mr. Green. He's our first candidate for his choice of music. So I'm going to hand over him now, and hopefully he can introduce himself to you.
So I'm Mr. Green, head of French and Spanish at Bishop's, teaching there for nearly 4 years now. Also a former Bishop's boy, so I was at school as a student between 1995 and 2002. Came back after 10 years of teaching elsewhere, and just recently sort of moved permanently to Salisbury. So pleased to be the first person on this.
You were very quick to offer your services, Mr. Green. So is music something that's important to you outside of the classroom?
I think so. I think music's just generally important, isn't it? I think it's such a strong tool and such an important part of people's lives, isn't it?
I think I need to get you to come and do the GCSE talk for us at the end of the
I just think it sort of narrates your life, though, doesn't it? You know, when I look back at various sort of elements of my life and times in life, I can usually put that to a song that's out at that time. So, you think about football matches that you've been to and songs that you heard on the way there, or that sort of representing Hampshire at cricket. I can just tell you exactly what song was out on the way to the drive for the first game and things like that. Similarly, sort of the good times and the bad times, you can narrate your life through music. So it's so strong and powerful that way, isn't it?
So we've got 3 songs from you for this podcast, where I've decided not to go the full 8 for our group. So your first tune is the Strokes' Last Night. So can you tell us a bit about that and why you've chosen that as your first piece?
Yeah, I'll try to bore you too much. So I think as a sort of a child, my taste in music was appalling, really. So age sort of 11 to 16, I was sort of just into whatever pop song was out at the time, and I wasn't really into any bands. And I was sort of the era of Oasis and Blur and Pulp, and just sort of all passed me by, really. I didn't really like any of them. And then when I was in the 6th form, my younger brother joined a band. He did a few gigs around Andover, and at that time he was sort of just mainly doing cover songs, but mainly sort of bands like Weezer, Idlewild, Chili Peppers, things like that. So I started to get a bit more into rock music and indie music. And the first sort of serious album I think I bought, just based on sort of seeing one song on MTV2, was The Strokes' Is This It? And the sort of standout song from that was Last Night. And I suppose that sort of song represents kind of my time in 6th form, sort of starting to go out, starting to really sort of get a taste and a flavour for music, and then going to university and sort of becoming the person I am now, I suppose. So yeah, kind of an important song for that stage of my life.
I found it interesting reading this afternoon that the band actually really didn't want to make a video for this track, and then watching that on YouTube this afternoon, it was really quite an angry video. There's quite a lot of shouting in the lyrics, and so we're going to have a listen to that now. But I would recommend that if you're listening to this and you enjoy what you hear, have a look at it on YouTube as well, because the video really sort of makes the song come out of its shell. So here we are, The Strokes' Last Night.
Turn around.
great first choice. So we're going to move on to your second choice here. Me by Damien Rice, and you said that you could have taken any track from the album O. So maybe if you could tell us a bit about that album.
Yeah, so sort of thinking about sort of next stage in my life, really. So after uni, or sort of towards the end of my third year of uni, actually, I met my wife. And around the sort of same time as we met, I got this album. I bought this album, just sort of arrived through the post the first day that Jess came up to visit me, really. So it's an album that's sort of been with us throughout our relationship. I bought it on the back of the song Cannonball, which is probably the most famous track, later sort of destroyed by, I think it was Little Mix, did a horrible version of it, didn't they? As an album, it's just it's beautiful, really. Beautiful lyrics, musically beautiful. We've been to go and see Damien Rice 3 or 4 times. But the song that stands out for me, kind of musically, melodically, and lyrically, I suppose, is Amy, yeah, which is just an album track, but yeah, definitely my favourite song off the album.
I found listening to the 2 tracks over the last couple of days, there's definitely a strong guitar influence there. Is that something that you tend to lean towards, or is that just a coincidence of the 2 tracks?
Yeah, probably maybe a bit of a coincidence. I think the quite relaxed music. I think with music, it kind of, what I listen to reflects my mood at the time, really. So when I'm in sort of work mode and calm, or chilling out in an evening, that sort of Damien Rice and Bon Iver, that sort of band, that sort of music is what I listen to. So I don't know if sort of a man and his guitar is kind of entirely my genre of music, but certainly that album is a standout one for me.
Damien Rice is the cousin of Dave Arnold, who is the writer of all the James Bond films. The music.
Oh right, no, I wasn't quite there.
There's a real heavy influence of the string writing. When we play it at the moment, I'm sure that everyone listening to this they'll hear that Bond-esque string writing, particularly at the end in the fade out.
Yeah, the end's really amazing.
And it's a great tune as an example of songwriting for the Year 9s, actually, because it's quite simplistic in its composition, but there's some real nuances to it that make it good to listen to all the way through. It's an enjoyable listen. So this is Damien Rice, Amy. This is our second song, so I hope you enjoy it.
Nothing unusual, nothing strange, close to nothing at all. The same old scenario, the same old rain, and there's no explosions here. And something unusual, something strange, come from nothing at all. I saw a spaceship fly by your window. Did you see it disappear? Amy, come sit on my wall and read me the story of old, and tell it like you still believe at the end of the century there's a change for you and me, and nothing unusual, nothing's changed, just a little older, that's all. You know when you found it, there's something I've learned, 'cause you feel it when they take it away. Hey, 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 something unusual, something strange, come from nothing at all. But I'm not a miracle, you're not a saint, just another soldier on a road to nowhere. Amy, come sit on my wall and read me the story of old, and tell it like you still believe end of the century brings a change for you and me. And Amy, come sit on my wall and read me the story of all, and tell it like you still believe at the end of the century brings a change for you and
So the third and final tune, and definitely of a different ilk of the first two tracks that we've heard. So we've got Caution by the Killers. So why is this your final choice?
So I've just gone for something that's sort of really, really up to date. So throughout lockdown last year, obviously, apart from the fact that it was from a professional point of view, tough, wasn't it? And kind of maybe on a global perspective, tough having to stay indoors and things. We had amazing weather, didn't we? So we went for some amazing walks and got to know the local area actually on our one bit of exercise a day really, really well. And listened to a lot of music while I was out and about. So I got the Spotify Premium, listened to loads, and the other day I got kind of the update from Spotify telling me what my most listened song was of 2020, and it was by a long way Caution by the Killers. Yeah, so it's kind of a song that will, I think, always remind me of the last year, a year which was tough for so many people and myself as well, I suppose. But it's sort of, we're becoming part of history, aren't we? Part of modern history with this year, and it'll be sort of the song that I take from that, I suppose.
This was released the week before the first lockdown, 6 or 7 days, and I think that has an even more poignant effect actually when we sit and listen to it now to what we went through then and what we consider to be almost normal at the moment. Hopefully not for much longer, but yeah, there's a real poignancy about the words and the meaning of this song. So this is the Killers' Caution.
never had a diamond on the sole of her shoes, just black top white trash straight out of the news. Doesn't like birthdays, they remind her of why she can go straight from 0 to the 4th of July. I'm throwing caution, what's it gonna be tonight? The winds of change are coming over me. If I don't get out of this town, I just might be the one who finally burns it down. I'm throwing caution, I'm throwing caution, I'm throwing caution, I'm throwing caution. 'Cause it's some kind of sin to live your whole life on a might have been.
And welcome back. What a great last track. Just like to say thank you to Mr. Green for being the first victim of Bishop's Desert Island Discs. Thank you ever so much for being with us. Thank you for chatting through your 3 choices of songs. And like you said, hopefully you've given a bit of new listening to some of the people that have tuned into this. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. We'll be back with you next week.